Welcome back to Unboxing OD, where we explore the human side of organizational development with depth, honesty, and a healthy dose of curiosity. Today's episode is a little different, recorded in person at South Mountain Community Library in Phoenix, Arizona. And maybe because of that, it felt more grounded, more immediate, more real. I sat down with Alex Ochoa, a proud first generation Latina college graduate and co founder of Latinos in IO Psychology, or LIOP. What followed was a conversation that reminded me how much can unfold when we slow down, listen closely, and meet one another with an open mind. Alex shares not only her professional journey, but also what it means to carve out space in a field where you don't often see yourself reflected. She opens up about imposter syndrome, about navigating spaces that weren't built with you in mind, and about what it means to choose compassion for others and for yourself as a professional standard. This conversation isn't about best practices or bullet points. It's about listening to others and to yourself. It's about noticing where assumptions show up and choosing connection instead. So wherever you are, I invite you to take a breath, lean in, and just listen. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Unboxing OD. I'm really excited to be here today. I'm joined at South Mountain Community Library in Phoenix, Arizona, with Alex Ochoa. And Alex Ochoa is a proud first-generation Latina college graduate, earned her master's in industrial organizational psychology in 2020 during the height of the pandemic. After losing her job, she turned adversity into opportunity by co-founding Latinos in IO Psychology, or LIOP, a professional organization dedicated to uplifting and connecting Latino professionals in the field. She currently serves as the Learning and Development Specialist at Gothic Landscape, where she's a department of one, supporting the training and development of over 500 employees, not including field workers. Her work focuses on bridging the gap between managers and teams through thoughtful, real world communication and learning strategies. So Alex, I would like to say welcome and thank you so much for joining me here today. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much again.
Yeah.
This is my first podcast, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, and that's great. That's great. I mean, this is we're trying to create a space here for OD professionals and L&D professionals, so that they get some really solid feedback on how to kind of navigate the field itself. And I saw there in your we'll talk about it a little bit later, but I saw there in your bio that you're a department of one
Yeah.
with 500 plus employees, if not
Yeah.
more.
It's a lot. I think that's a challenge for a lot of us, though. We're all a department of one somewhere or another. You're a department of one now.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah, and I know when I was working at my previous organization, we were serving about 1,100 employees, and we were department two,
Oh,
and it was
that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
yeah, and I know the departments we were handling, because it was a like a small government. It was very diverse. So it was a health department, and it was a fire department, law enforcement, legal services, housing, facilities, gaming. There's just a lot of different areas to focus on.
And I don't feel like we're the only ones that feel that way, and that they just keep piling more and more. And it's like, oh, you guys got it. You have four hands, right? Two, it's fine. But you just think about it, you're like, no, please stop. So
yeah. So I would love to start actually with your story. So you carved out a space for yourself in IO psychology as a first gen Latina, and I imagine that wasn't always easy for you. So what was it like stepping into a field where you didn't see many people who looked or sounded like you?
Yeah, so I'm just going to take it a little bit back first.
Yeah.
So after finishing my undergrad, I was still stuck in this weird place of, what am I going to study? Do I really love IO? Do I really want to continue and pursue it? So I ventured out to look for different programs, right? Different master's program in California specifically.
Okay.
And I knew there was going to be a program out there that was going to have everything I wanted. I want like a Latino president or a professor, and I want them to understand what I've gone through. I want them to, go through the trenches just like I did. But it was really hard to find. It was very, very difficult. And I was like, okay, well, which one do I feel the most connected to? So that's where I had to start, because then if I always felt, well, I don't see anybody like me, then I'm always going to feel like I can't do it. I can't keep going. And I think a lot of us do feel that way, right? So it makes us stop. It makes us just want to give up, honestly.
Mhm.
But we have to see it in a different way of, I will be the first then. I will be that pioneer then, right? And so for me going into my master's program, I was like, okay, I'm going to find something that I could do differently. I'm going to find somewhere where I can be that pioneer in a different way. And I'm truly grateful because my cohort was super diverse. It had that I needed. It had, the people that really were going to expand my mind and really stretch me. So for me, honestly, just having the mentorship there that I did, it really pushed me to seeing that even more than Latina, even as a first gen, I'm going to succeed in this, right? And I think a lot of us feel that, oh, shoot, what if I can't? What if I'm not going to be that one? So I always see it as there's a stats that's out there that shows that undergrads, the highest undergrads that you see graduating is Latinos, then it goes African American, then it goes Asian, right? So that's undergrad. Then when you go into your master's degree, it goes African American, then it goes, I believe, oh, sorry, it's going to be, yes, African American, Asian, then it goes Latinos. Then PhD, it goes Asian, African American, Latinos. So you start seeing like there's no other one that can make it, right? Like it just seems like it's a smaller and smaller group of us that are able to make it. And that honestly just should put a light of fire under our butts, right? And so that's how I have to take it now, and I hope that a lot of people do as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I know that we'll probably talk about it a little bit later here too. So actually, let's talk about it now. So let's talk about LIOP. So
Mhm.
you launched it in the middle of the pandemic, during a time of deep uncertainty.
Mhm.
So what inspired you to create a community like that when the world felt like it was standing still?
So definitely a lot of things were happening during that time. The pandemic, Black Lives Matter movement was happening. There was a lot of people that were voiceless. And it was a lot of times when we need to empower each other, right? And going into the IO world, I did notice that I obviously don't see a lot of people that look like me. And I wanted to make sure that I was a voice, that I was able to be able to push something else out there. And luckily, there was a small community already forming, and it was Latinos in IO, and alongside the founder as well, Sitlali. And she actually was starting it up. She needed a little more help. And I was like, you know what? Whatever I can do, I'm here. I have no job. So this will be my full-time job. I think a lot of us start like this, like this is going to be my full-time job now.
Yeah.
And so I knew that how I felt during my master's program, I just didn't want people to, I wanted a lot of people to also feel that sense of community and that sense of, there are people out there that are doing their master's degree or undergrad or PhD level that are going through the same things that I am. And from the LIOP world, I was able to honestly reach out to so many people that from Ohio, a person that said, I'm the only Latina here. How do I get in touch with this? How do I get in touch with a group, with a community? And it's through this, right? It's through little things that we have like cafecitos, which are little coffee times, right? And we get to talk about LMD, OD, any type of IO space, right? The research part, we just geek out in a way that we to understand each other's language, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of us want to share with each other, right? And putting the perspectives that we do have within our culture, within our community, and that's super important, right? Who else will understand the things that we're going through, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I know that you had mentioned that you started it with it was just two of you. How many members or followers now that you have on LinkedIn?
Oh gosh, followers is too many to count, but I would say over 1,000 for sure.
Wow,
Over. It
wow,
was just
such a short period of time.
yeah, yeah. I mean, 5 years now. 5 years.
Mhm.
It feels like you feel the 5 years, right?
Mhm,
We've
mhm.
done mentorship programs. We've this is gonna next year will be our fourth annual conference, and you start seeing like, wow, we really did stretch
Yes,
ourselves, and people
yes.
really did believe in us because they're the ones that were our not only subscribers but also um, giving us those like any types of scholarships or anything like that, right? They just really really poured out what they believed in.
Yeah, yeah, and I know, for me, I was invited when I was at SIOP by
Yeah.
Dr. Janitza Negron.
Mhm.
She's a IO psychologist, and she's in Puerto
Mm.
Rico.
Yeah.
I'm not great with
No, you're good. It's okay.
um,
I see.
but I know that when when she was talking about the group, how she felt that like it was her first up as well, but how she felt that support and how she felt that inclusion in there, and
Mm.
and I was invited to like I guess the last night dinner, the
Yeah.
Thursday night dinner or
Yeah.
whatever, and like I came over, and that's when I got a chance to meet you, and
Yeah.
it was just it came across as a very supportive, very inclusive um, group of individuals. And it was for me, I mean, my my I talk about it all the time, my science
Mm.
experience was amazing, and that was definitely part of it
Yeah.
too. So
That's awesome
yeah.
because then you remember that feeling of I do want to come back because I do feel a part of the group, right? I
Mhm.
do feel like I should be always there or supporting in any which way. So you always will have that interaction like that,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
that's what you want to have, especially when you're in a big, large group like that. We're
yeah,
over, how many is inside, right? Like
yeah,
there's
I think
just
it was like 5,000 or something like that. It was a lot.
and you get overwhelmed.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
imagine having people that like pull you in because they remember you from last year, right?
Hmm,
And you do
hmm.
feel like, oh, hey, like I could let my guard down a little.
Yeah,
I have that sense of peace now
yeah,
because I have this person that knows me. They
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I've gone through. They know what I've been through
yeah,
in any way.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that like a couple of times we've kind of gone back and emails and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So and part of what you were talking about, in terms of that inclusivity and the SIA being more of a community. So you've mentioned imposter syndrome before.
Mhm.
Um, so was there a moment that brought that feeling front and center for you? And how did you learn to work through it, especially in a field where underrepresentation is still a real issue?
Yeah. So this is something that obviously happens with a lot of us.
Mm,
It just I almost see it as I always have to almost re trigger my brain to remembering different things, right? Like how can I make sure that I'm not feeling these emotions because I know I am this type of person, like I've done X, Y, Z. And this is where I wish a lot more people get there faster.
mhm.
But I know those struggles inside
Yeah,
are always in us.
yeah.
And for me, one of the biggest ones was actually at a conference, and I was dressed very professionally. I had everything, the badge that I was supposed to wear, and everything like that. It even said, I think, on the badge, like speaker or guest.
Mhm.
Um, and this person came up to me and said, "Do you know where the restrooms are?" As feeling that I worked there. And to me, I was like, no, I don't. And then I was just thinking, why would this person think this? And
Mhm.
it's like, I don't fit in. And I
Yeah.
felt just, I had 2 more hours that I had to go
Mhm.
and finally have my speaking event. And I'm like, I'm not going to be in the right mindset right
Mhm.
now. This just triggered everything. And instead of me feeling that way, I actually ended up calling my mom first. And
Okay.
she just was like, how is this happening to me all the time? And 10 times worse, maybe. And she just said, instead of, getting upset maybe next time, just let them know, like, actually, I'm the speaker here, so maybe their mindset changes, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you. Like, why does this woman that, never went to college could understand it and like give me such a great way of seeing it, and that really alleviated a lot.
Mhm.
But the best thing that I had was also having my group to go to, my community, right? And just being like, hey, where are you? There's a group of, let's say 1,500 people here, and I
Mhm.
don't feel good right now. Can you come and talk to me? And that just helped so much because
Yeah.
it was like, this has happened to me, this has happened to me, and this has happened to me. But we've done so much other work, and that's what we always have to remind ourselves. Again, it's almost having that um that coach, right? That coach is going to lead you to that safe space,
Mhm. Mhm.
and so to me that was helpful to have that group,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
call almost like a
Yeah.
911.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I love your mother's advice. Just say no. I'm a speaker.
Yeah, yeah,
I actually,
definitely.
I don't know where the restrooms are. I'm actually a
Yeah,
speaker.
to
Um,
find me in room two, too, actually.
yeah. Why don't you go? Why don't you
Yeah,
consider me?
yeah,
Yeah. I love
yeah,
it. And I'd say, I mean, I know you're, and that's where it is like being able
hmm
to find our support networks and our support groups and everything. It's I know, like I said, I mean, LIOP is, just from my perspective of it and following it a little bit, I was only really introduced to it in April of this year.
yeah,
So only
yeah.
about 3 months ago.
Mhm.
And, like I said, I mean, I see, the discussion, I saw the discussions that were going on and the
Mhm.
support that was there.
Mhm.
And for me, it's such a wonderful
Mhm.
thing to see.
Yeah.
So,
And we really do appreciate when people come and they're like, they always tell me, Alex, I'm not Latina. I'm not Latino. I don't want to take up your space. And it's like, no, you're not taking up our space.
mhm,
You're there and you're listening, right? You're there to listen and to understand our space, right? Just like we go and listen and understand everybody else's space, right? And I think that's why I always try to push, especially people that are like, yes, I am an ally and everything, right? Then I'm like,
mhm,
then come.
yeah,
Let's move on, and I remember having to tell somebody, I'm like, I'm giving you the verbal invitation
mhm,
from the person that started it and from the person that like did the invitations and everything. So it's like, so I'm gonna be like a super Latina mom and be like, if you don't come to my party right now, I'm never gonna invite you to anything, So I really do want people to see it that way, right?
yeah,
Because you have to come. We've invited you, and listen and be a part of those discussions and understand what we're going through, right? Because if we're not talking about it, we'll never know.
yeah, yes. And I know that was one of the things I asked is like
Mm.
how do I be better?
Mhm.
And I know a couple of the people that were there, they just said
Mhm.
just listen.
Mhm.
That's it. Like just listen.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And
good.
it really gave me a whole different
Mhm.
perspective, and one that I really like. I appreciate. I have
Mhm.
been appreciating it
Mhm.
since then because I mean
Mhm.
I've been trying and I've been like in terms of my growth
Mhm.
throughout the years, trying to be a better listener, trying to
Mhm.
be um, trying to understand like different perspectives
Mhm.
and different experiences and but being told to, I was like,
Mhm.
you got it.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
just sit here and
Well,
listen.
yeah, that's true. It's
Yeah,
true. I'm
no.
glad. I'm glad that you were there, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very, very happy I was too. Um, so yeah, so you actually just shared a little bit of a story about being mistaken for sports staff at a professional conference. So that kind of thing can cut deep. How do you
Mhm.
navigate those moments? And I know you talked about it a little bit, but like, how do you navigate those moments now? And how do you keep showing up fully as yourself in spaces that aren't always ready for you?
Yeah. So definitely rewiring my brain. I kind
Mhm.
of mentioned that. And I've been more in this journey recently, the past like 3 months, I would say that I need to rewire my brain into a lot of different things, right? When I do feel this type of imposter syndrome, I know what I am capable of. I know what I've done in the past. I've known what I will be capable of doing. I'm still growing in every which way. And so when I'm navigating through that, I always think back of who was I 5 years ago, right? And how much I have changed, but also how much I want to change for other people too, so they could see that, oh my gosh, if Alex did it, I could do it too, right? Like she, was the exact same spot I was at, right? I was an undergrad five years ago, and she worked. She worked and hustled for it, and she made sure that she did what she needed to do, but it took her to a spot that she felt like it was comfortable, for her. And also again, stretching myself, right? And like making myself feel uncomfortable spaces too, right? Like in those spaces that I feel that I don't belong, I try my best to lean in more, right? And even with things like this, right? Like podcasts, like, oh, like 5 years ago, I've been like, Alex could never do a podcast, and things like that. And it's, now I'm so grateful that I get to be a speaker in certain conferences, and I'm still up there, and I still feel myself shaking, and I still feel myself, but I'm like, my voice is needing to be heard. And there's actually a quick real analogy that I actually had. I was listening to this, I think it was like a TED talk, and they were talking a little bit more about the DEI space, right? And how it is so important to have people that look different than in any company, right? And so she was talking a little bit about the Santa Monica Mall. So I'm talking about the one in California. And in California, the Santa Monica Mall, the restrooms for the women are a little further and isolated than everything else. And so the engineers trying to think of, oh, the ladies would probably love having the space to be a little further out, not thinking, hey, maybe this is danger, danger. They thought, hey, let's make them have an isolated place with their little family and have them away from the mall, right? And all those engineers looked like each other, right? Like they didn't have a different type of perspective. And that's what I always think back on is my perspective is so different than what you're thinking, right? And that's where my voice comes in. And that's where everybody's voice, honestly, because their challenges and things that they have gone through will show that. It will show, hey, ding, 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 red flags all around, right? That is alert for women, right? So imagine having that now. We have to like go through this whole different construction now just to put something that should have been safe, And so I think of things like that, and like this is where people need to push themselves and see your voice needs to be heard.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like I said, I'm really happy that you chose to do this one as your first one. So
Yeah.
and I'm sure there'll be plenty more
Oh, that'd be so
come
nice.
down from this. So we're talking. We'll get a little bit into the workspace now too. So you worked in very different environments, from Amazon to a growing family-rooted company like Dr. Landscape. What did those what did those contrasting experiences teach you about culture, and what really matters when it comes to learning and development?
Yeah. So two different cultures for sure right there. I mean, anybody who's anybody could kind of just look a little bit and research about how Amazon is. And it's rough. It's a pretty rough spot.
Just I work there too.
Oh, see?
I know.
I think we talked about that too.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not for the faint of heart. Is that how they say it? Right? Yeah. So it's not. You really have to be just strong-minded and really ready for, what do they say? Every day is different. And that's 100% true. They even say like 1 year is like 7 dog years compared to other companies. And so whenever somebody tells me like, how was it like? Oh my gosh. And they think of it like so magical. It's like, it's tough. It's tough, but I will never regret it. I will never, because it really did help create a foundation for where I need to go, what I need to do, and who I really want to become as a leader, and I saw, just the culture, the effects that it takes on people, and it really is a trickle effect, right? And so I'm super grateful that I'm able to share these stories and able to share what not to do, right? What to do and what not to do. Mostly not. And now going into like a mom and pop shop where my voice really gets to be heard
Mhm.
because of all of the things that I have gone through and all the things that, again, I know it's only been 5 years,
Mhm.
but how I also see it is don't ever let an, a job opportunity think that that's not any IOR. That's not an LND space that I can be in. No, you convert it into one.
Yeah.
You make it into something where you can make it an IO profession, right?
Yeah.
So push yourself because all of the things that I have taken, like almost like a tool belt, right?
Mhm.
All these tools, I'm able to now use it for Gothic, for my
Yeah.
new company, you know, and that's why I don't feel like even though I am juggling a lot of just projects and things for people as a team of one, it doesn't feel overwhelming because I do feel like I had that like massive like just almost like job explosion in my head
Mhm.
from Amazon. So I feel like it's never like stopped me from doing more with my life.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. And I know, Amazon specifically. Like I had gone because I've worked in the small business
mhm.
space, but I worked at Amazon, not long ago. I mean, it was 2019 to 2021.
Oh,
So I actually worked at Amazon in the
yeah.
fulfillment center. I was a
Oh,
level one. Like I moved into
mm,
like the learning space there, but I needed to be reminded that I still had the work ethic. Like
mhm.
I was raised on work ethic,
Yep.
and my parents both instilled that in all of us, like all of my siblings, myself, and it's like sometimes when you're sitting behind a desk, you kind of forget that
Mhm.
it's there. And I went there and I was like, yeah, it's still there. Now I
Oh
can go.
my, it'll humble you real quick.
Oh
You're
man,
just,
it was, and it was, but it was absolutely necessary.
yep.
And if you don't,
Mhm.
and I'll say this, like if you don't mind like working hard
Mhm.
for your shift, being a number,
Mhm.
because you don't have to
Mhm.
like unless you're in the top or the bottom, you don't exist.
Nope.
You're a number,
No.
and that's fine.
Mhm.
That's okay if that's what you
Mhm.
want, But it's
No.
yeah.
I think that's what always hurt me the most because I felt like my values and my morals were getting almost blurred there. And that's when I was like, I need to get out. Like this is not me. This is not who I am. This is not who I thought I would become. Right? Like so that's when I was just like, I need to get out and I need to be able to help those people that are feeling like they're in the middle and not being heard to be heard,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so it's very important.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about your current role,
Mhm.
okay? Because being a department of one for 500 plus people is no small thing. We know this.
Thank you for noticing.
So what does that look like in practice, and how do you stay grounded while carrying that kind of responsibility?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things actually right now that I'm next month we're going to work on is making sure that the field workers are being heard.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
to me, that's so important. And the company's been doing this. And now that they have like an IO person, I can give my feedback on let's push it a little further, right? Let's not just do surveys. Let's do a little bit more, right? Let's do that one-on-one. Let's do that, qualitative survey that we can get, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's like the really big aspect for me in a job is my voice
Mhm.
important,
Yeah.
right? And um, definitely it's something that I see it day in and day out. And the fact that, again, you build the trust just like with
Mhm.
every organization. You build the trust and then you make sure that you're again listening first and seeing what needs to be adjusted. Where can you readjust?
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah. And I just finished up my surveys and organizational behavioral
oh
course
yeah.
in
Mhm.
my IO program. So good luck with
Thanks. I know.
that.
Being a department of one, it's hard because it's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
a couple of people that are in the field. It's all handwritten.
Okay,
So
okay.
that makes it even extra harder
Yeah,
because now it's okay, I have to read all these
yeah,
and type them
yeah.
out and make sure that they're perfect. But again, like the AI world, it's like, oh, okay, I can do this. I can get
Mhm.
help, So it does really help and taking,
Yeah, and the work that you're doing in there is by providing a space for people to be heard.
Yeah. Hmm.
Especially you talked about just before about those Amazon, those middle of the road workers that are just a number. Just again, unless you're in Amazon, unless you're on the bottom or on the top, like
Start like,
they don't notice you, and but being able to now in your space use your IO
mhm,
expertise and be able to really you know get individuals that maybe never have been heard in
yeah,
any job they've ever had.
yeah,
It's so empowering,
mhm,
and that's such
mhm,
important work that
mhm.
you're doing.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
it's really important
Yeah.
to make sure that you get noticed for
Mhm.
that as well.
Oh,
You know
thank
what I
you.
mean?
And then
Because
honestly, that also goes with the company, right? Like
hmm
that you choose. Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
know that everyone has so many resources that they can do
hmm
that, and
hmm
mom and pop shops starting off, it's
hmm
been 30 years now or 40 years, and they're taking that road.
yeah.
It's crazy,
Yeah, and
right?
and again, that a lot of kudos to them as
Mhm.
well for recognizing the importance in having that work done. So,
Mhm.
that's really impressive.
Yeah.
So, thank you for sharing that story
Yeah.
because it really is important. It really is important for people to be able to be heard in there
Right.
too. So we were having a little bit of a conversation. We were talking about, you have a tattooed colleague
Mhm.
that's now ranked as one of the top fleet directors in the country.
Mhm.
Um, it says so much about how we misjudge
Mhm.
potential. So, what do stories like this and yours reveal about how we define leadership and professionalism?
Yeah. I always take it back, right? It's like, what do people first see, and
Mhm,
then you automatically have that assumption, and that's why, again, I try to make sure that when I am, you know, anywhere at a store or anything, and I'm looking at this person and I'm thinking, am I asking them, because they do have some sort of like name tag or something, right? I'm just mindful because those microaggressions are so instant, and just we just have to take more of a step back instead of that fast reaction, which we all do
right.
because it's easy. It's easy. And now in this day and age, everything's easy. Everything's easy to get. Everything's just do it faster, and I think with people, we don't. We should
Yeah,
not be doing it faster.
right,
Whereas people, it does take time and it does take a little more of an effort.
right.
And so with my colleague, I saw that he was mentioning that he started from not knowing anything about his profession, but he knew what he wanted to take it. He knew again, like, I want to do this for me. I want to do this for my family. I want to do this because I know that I can, and that's something that's super empowering because it doesn't matter um, what age stage
Mhm,
in your
mhm,
life, whether in your undergrad or starting at in your IO career, you're able to push and elevate your career so much. But it does take a lot of work and
mhm,
it does take a lot
mhm,
of time and
mhm,
honestly like a lot of mentorship too.
mhm,
I saw
mhm.
that he put that time and that effort and now seeing that he's one of the best in the nation, that's insane. And again, he's also a department of one,
Okay,
so
okay.
but all of his colleagues are like, well, wait, you don't get anybody else to help you? Like there's
Mhm,
no other third party? Like it's just solely you
mhm,
in-house. No, XYZ helping. It's like, nope,
mhm.
and do it all myself. And it's like with the help of his other branch colleagues. And it's
Mhm.
like that's huge. So
Yeah,
again, it's super empowering to have. And it's like, you see, you can push yourselves.
yeah, yeah. And I know, I mean, on this show specifically, we talk about, organizational development from a human-centric
Mhm.
perspective, not just like the strategies and that kind of stuff. Like it's behind everything that we do. There are people, you know, I mean, one of the things you're talking about is that implicit bias in that we have when
Mhm.
we look at somebody. And one of the reasons why I resonated, this story resonated
Mhm.
with me is because my brother, he's all, tattoo sleeves on
Mhm.
both sides, down his leg, on his back and all that. But he's a CHRO for, a
Yeah.
mid-sized PEO company in New Jersey, and he worked extremely hard to get where he is.
Mhm.
So, hearing that story about your colleague that's now like number one in
Yeah.
or top in the country,
Mhm.
it's it reminds me
Mhm.
to make sure that that I look past,
Mhm.
I look beyond the initial impression,
Mhm.
and I get to the root of the person,
Mhm.
before making any types of judgments. Even though I shouldn't be making any judgments.
Right. Right. Right.
And that's for a different conversation, though. But I shouldn't be making any judgments. But it's just I like that as that reminder. When I need that reminder too, like I'll think of my brother
Mhm.
and be like, yeah, if he's wearing,
Look at
yeah, if he's wearing like,
Mhm.
if he's going like shirtless at the beach, it's like, yeah, okay, well,
Never thought. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. And that's the thing, is just all we need to do is just slow down in a world
right.
where we're just fast, fast, fast.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Just for people, we just need to take that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. So there's a lot of talk right now in IO about AI, automation, and optimization. But you stayed focused on people. So how do we keep the human side of this field, IO, OD, those particular fields? How do we keep the human side from getting lost in the tech forward in all of the tech forward conversations?
Yeah. So it's really interesting because for me, I do love AI. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
I'm using it as, again, another tool in my tool belt.
Right.
I need to make sure that just like everybody else has it, I need to know what it is. I need to understand it, right?
Mhm.
But when you're talking about the human aspect of it, in my world, I'll always need humans, right? I'll always need the people centric of it. But this is when I go back to me. This is when I go back to, why am I starting to want to be in this field? And for me, it's always been about people. And so when sometimes people come up to me and say, like, what is this AI thing? Because a lot of people still don't know it, which is very interesting. But they're like, what is it? Is it cheating? Am I cheating on my, like, doing all my work? And it's like, no, we need to see it a different way. We need to see it as, a tool. We need to see it as, now instead of reinventing the wheel, we get to just have it already there, and let's start almost painting it, right? We're just painting it, we're making it our zhuzhing it up,
Mhm.
right? And so I feel like right now I'm using it a lot where I get to have the people aspect of it, understand it more, and understand how it's not scary. And so I actually, last year I went to an AI conference, and a lot of people then were just kind of like in talks of, like, are we scared of it, or are we okay with this? And it was still that, like, should we keep using it? Should we not? And the majority of it was, it is super helpful when it's done correctly, right? And I know that there was a person that said that they live in a space where it's very rural, and like they needed to go all the way to the hospital, and the hospital is very tiny. And so instead of, you know, them taking forever to diagnose this person, they checked on an app and they said, hey, this is what the symptoms are. What could it be? Right? Instead of, let me see this in the video. So they were able to have a faster diagnosis than anything before, right? And to me, that's how I see it, is like, how are we all communicating with each other
Mhm.
and also using these tools in different ways, right?
Yeah.
But again, IOs will always be needing our people, no matter what, right? We all have different characteristics. No bot is going to tell me which type of characteristics I have, or and instantly understand what we do and who we are, right?
Yeah,
Deep down.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, because I know that the one of the things I saw with I think the World Economic Forum put out a 2024 report or a study showing the skills that were going to be needed for 2030, and they were
Mhm.
all around
Yeah.
communication and like all around these human skills
Mm.
that and that's what it is. And AI will make things easier,
Mhm.
and as you said it right at the very beginning,
Mhm.
as a tool, it will make
Yeah.
things easier, but we're
Yeah.
still gonna need the human
Yeah.
centered portion of it,
Yeah.
the communication skills,
Mhm.
the understanding that AI will never understand nonverbal cues.
Mm,
I mean, it
mhm,
might eventually, but I can't say will never. But it's not going to be for a little while.
mhm, mhm.
So
Don't take that away from us.
yes, exactly. Please don't. Please don't tell me how I'm feeling by
Yeah.
looking at me on the camera. So yeah, no, that's great. So we're getting down to our last couple questions here.
Mhm.
And I always like to end the conversations with these particular questions. So for someone just entering OD or IO, especially if they're from a background that's been historically overlooked,
Mm.
what's something you wish someone had told you when you were starting out?
Oh, okay. Something I wish. I think it would be be able to make space for yourself. I feel like a lot of the times growing up, I was always told, don't be seen, don't be heard,
Mhm.
because it could be anything, right? We're at somebody else's house. We don't belong here. We maybe don't look like everybody else. So we just want to be, again, almost like a wallflower, right? Just to get, don't be talking too loud. Don't be like this. So now I, again, have to recode myself to knowing that I can take up space. I have a voice. I'm able to stand up for the things that I see that are wrong, right? And especially nowadays, right? Like we see a lot of the things that are politically going on, and it's like it's our turns to just have that voice for
Yeah,
people that are voiceless,
yeah,
because it's just history keeps repeating itself, right? And again, it's like, which side do you want to be on? What area do you see yourself and you want to be saying the 5-10 years, like, I knew I took that stand, I knew I took that, that space that I couldn't before. So I think I just wish I could have told myself, come on, you could do it, just push yourself a little more,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. That's great.
mhm.
That's great. And then last question here for you. So as we wrap things up on a reflective note, so and that's what we do. We reflect.
Mhm.
We do on a little reflective note. So if you had to describe who you're becoming in
Mhm.
one sentence, phrase, or even a little poem, a haiku, if you wanted to. We won't talk about the haiku. We'll talk about that after we
Oh
get off the air
goodness.
here. If you had to describe who you're becoming in one sentence or phrase, what would that sound like today?
Oh, I love that. Okay, what am I becoming? I feel like I'm becoming somebody empowering, somebody that is striving for more,
Mhm.
someone that wants more, and from herself and from others,
Mhm.
right? And so at the end of the day, it's just, I go back to also being compassionate for other people and myself. If it doesn't work out and try all these things,
Mhm.
take that step back and just reflect and pause and really listen to
Yeah,
what's going on.
yeah, yeah. I love that because we talk a lot about on the podcast. We talk a lot about growth mindset. We talk
Mm,
a lot about
mhm,
just being able
mhm,
to accept when things don't work out sometimes
yeah,
and be able to learn from
mhm,
those situations and use them as opportunities to become better, for yourself. And then, we talk about, leaders and, coworkers, colleagues, being able to give space for people to make mistakes
yeah.
so they can grow from them and learn from them and become better in the future.
Mhm.
You know, yeah, yeah. I still, sadly, I still see that it's, that there's some companies there's no room for mistakes,
Mm,
and that's
mhm,
that's
mhm.
not a good way
Yeah, yeah. But my professor would always say, the higher the climb, right, the harder the
to
fall.
be.
So
Hmm.
that's why I'm just like, be careful.
Yeah, yeah.
So it comes all
So
out. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, this has been a wonderful conversation. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy that you spent some time here. So I want to, first, are people able to connect with you on LinkedIn?
Oh, 100%,
Okay,
100%.
okay.
I love, especially when undergrads or grad students are always looking for just somebody to bounce off ideas from.
Hmm.
Again, we have mentorship programs at LIOP,
Hmm.
so I love that. And also, I love doing one-on-one portfolios just to see how people can, again, take their, just almost rip up their resume and make it look just, again, zhuzh it up,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And they can show what projects they've accomplished,
Mhm.
even as an undergrad, as a grad student, doesn't matter. You've done projects, and I
Mhm.
love
Mhm.
to show, like, when you do go into that interview, you can be like, bam, this is who I am. And I love giving that, just again, mentorship and advice of what I have done before
Mhm.
with my portfolios and how it's just growing,
Yeah.
and that's so important to have nowadays.
Yeah.
It's not all about the resume, it's more now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so I will have in the show notes Alex's contact information
Okay.
on LinkedIn. And then, I know we were talking a little bit about the 2026 LIOP
Mhm.
conference. I know you said you didn't have dates yet,
Not yet. No.
but I want you
Mhm.
to, if where would people be able to find that information?
Yeah, so it would be also at the Maya LinkedIn.
Okay,
Yeah, so
okay,
they could go through there. We have it on IG. So
okay,
any which
okay.
way, we'll promote it. I
Excellent,
know
excellent.
other people promote it for us so much too. So
Mhm.
we're so grateful for all the community groups
Excellent.
also. Yeah.
I'll be sure to have that in the show notes as well. So that make sure that everybody, that listens to this, please connect with Alex.
So
This has been great. Thank you so much for being here,
this has been
and
so fun.
I look forward to many more of these conversations.
Cool. Awesome. Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for spending time with us on this very special episode of Unboxing OD. If Alex's story resonated with you, I encourage you to connect with her directly on LinkedIn and check out the incredible work happening through Latinos in IO Psychology, or LIOP. Whether you're seeking mentorship, community, or just a place to belong, their doors are open and the invitation is real. To connect with Alex, her links are in the show notes. And for those of you looking to continue the journey inward and upward, Pearson & Pearson LLC is here to support your organizational development needs. From team building to strategic design, we specialize in helping organizations become more self-reliant, on purpose and with purpose. You can learn more about our work in the book, The Flow of Five Tiers, a framework for structuring high-functioning organizations. And if you're looking to recalibrate your own leadership practice, the 21-day leadership realignment self-paced reflection experience is now available. It's concise, powerful, and built to fit into the busiest of schedules. All of those links are in the show notes as well. Until next time, keep listening, keep showing up fully, and keep unboxing what it means to lead with intention. Take care.